Hi students, I am Prakash, Chartered Accountant and acting as academic advisor in Masterminds from the past 20 years. Here is a short video introducing Matchless Masterminds briefly for the convenience of the students who came to this channel for the first time. Masterminds was established in the year 2002 and has been acting as a reliable platform to offer coaching for CA and CMA courses. Masterminds is undeniably the pioneer and the leader in MEC, CEC, CA and CMA courses with nearly 20,000 admissions per annum. This is an incredible initiative by three edupreneurs, namely Mohan, Radha and Prakash, that is me. All three qualified CA at a very young age of 21 years and started this organization under the mentorship of my father, Mr. M. Siv Prasad Garu. So Mr. Mohan is my brother and Radha is my sister-in-law. And by the way, it's me, Prakash, Chartered Accountant. So here are the courses for which we offer the coaching. We offer coaching for MEC, CEC groups exclusively at intermediate level. And we also offer integrated coaching for MEC along with CA-CMA Foundation. And we also take exclusive admissions for CA-CMA Foundation or CA-CMA Inter. And we also offer coaching for CA-CMA final level as well. Recently, we have started a unique academic program at intermediate level, that is MEC Pro, aiming for the students who want to pursue BBA or MBA or CLAT courses in future rather than CA or CMA, and we have received a huge applause for the same. So 20 years of experience, and we have finished more than 155 batches of CA or CMA Inter in Guntur alone and similar number of batches in all our branches together. So till now completed 17 batches of CMA Inter and 18th batch is going on. Successfully completed 25 batches of CA final till now and 26th batch is running now, and we have also successfully completed 4 CA or CMA final batches in Hyderabad. So till now our students are able to achieve 990 All India ranks at various levels of CA-CMA courses, and our students are able to achieve first rank for 48 times in various courses for which we offer coaching. So in a single year our students are able to achieve 3 All India first ranks in the year 2020, and till now our students are able to achieve state first rank at MEC intermediate level for 18 times, that too 8 times in a row. In a single attempt, our students are able to grab 98 All India ranks at CMA Inter and final results of January 2021 and our All India ranks in February 2022 CA results. And here are the 10 All India ranks in CA final results of 2021 alone. And till now our students are able to secure 93 All India ranks at IPCCR CA Inter level in the last 9 years. And here is our physical presence: Guntur, Vijayawada, Hyderabad, Amirpet, Dilshuk Nagar, Vizag, Tirupati, Kurnool and Rajahmundry. And here are the locations where we have branches, and here are the contact numbers. Here is the list of our physical presence and here is the list of our online presence. And for your kind information, we don't have branches in any other locations other than stated here. So please do install our Android app Masterminds Online Classes from Google Play Store, and if you belong to iOS platform, then install an app called Class Plus from Apple Store and enter the organization code as MZGUN. In this app, you can find a large number of useful content like regular batch videos, crash batch videos, rapid revision batches, guidance classes, motivational videos, amendment videos, Masterminds test series, whatnot. Large amount of useful content is already available in the app. In our app, you can find a section called study material where large amount of free content is also available, and till now more than 24,000 students have already downloaded our app and we are nearing to 25,000. Sir, is it possible to interact with the directors directly? Yes. If it is an administrative issue, you need to contact Mr. Mohan sir on this mail ID. If it is academic issue, you need to contact me on this mail ID. So thanks to all our students who are our true brand ambassadors and who helped us to reach this position. All the best.
Greetings all of you. Welcome to the class of Business Correspondence and Reporting. In this session, we'll be looking at the questions and answers and their respective explanation as per the new RTP, revision test paper released for May 2022 attempt. Right? Let's get into the questions. In the part A, we have two questions given to us from the chapter Communication. So the first question, explain any two characteristics of effective communication. So we have many characteristics in the communication chapter which will lead to an effective communication, and we have taken two characteristics here and we have explained them in a very briefest way. Remember, this question is only for 2 marks, not for 10 marks or 5 marks. So we need to concise and condense the points as much as we can and write it accordingly. For this particular question, characteristics of effective communication, only two characteristics are asked, but this is completely covered in our masterminds material in the communication chapter, which is in page number 7.10, the question number 12. When I mean page number 7.10, question number 7 is the chapter number for communication we have chosen from masterminds, and question number 12. See, briefly explain the characteristics of effective communication. We have given this question to you in such a way that each and every characteristic is explained in a proper way if asked individually, and at the same time we have given the same characteristics in a single line answers if asked to write all the characteristics as well for 2 marks. So you can refer this answer in communication chapter, question number 12, and you can effectively answer this question. The first characteristic we have chosen is coherence. It's about writing or communicating in a proper way by taking care of the words, sentences, paragraphs, and the main key factor of this coherence is sequentially organizing the matter in a logical sequence where and how the information can be easily understood. Now the second characteristics we have chosen here is completeness. That means giving all necessary information required along with the facts, figures and numbers. Now this way of communicating keeps the intellectual level of the speaker, receiver in mind, like to what extent the speaker, the receiver can understand the things. So we have chosen these two because they seems to be little simpler than others. The second question, write a note on cultural barriers in effective communication. If you properly see, this is one of the barriers for communication that was asked, not all the barriers. This question is exclusively covered in page number 12 of 7th chapter with the question number 13, where we have given a detailed answer for all the barriers of communication in detailed way. See, look at this. Along with it, we have given how can you write all the barriers or at least 4 or 5 barriers together for a 2 marks question if asked. But the question asked here is to write a brief note on cultural barriers. See, cultural barriers refers to obstacle one faces with respect to the diversity in culture. That means people from different places, different areas, from different language, religion, community, ethnicity, their nativeness. So due to cultural differences of different places, words, signs, symbols, the message may be interpreted in a different way and might lead to miscommunication. So within an organization also, cultural ideologies can be different across verticals and divisions, which might lead to wrong message being conveyed. Moreover, gestures, protocols within family groups and friends also might be mistaken. For example, my friend comes to my house, they use little different language of sign when they want to talk to the others in a secret way, and whereas the same sign language is different in my family, when my friend starts doing that, he might be like little different. So these are the questions and the references. So I am writing the question numbers and references again according to the question. Here, this is page number 10. Question number 12 in communication chapter of 4.5 edition of Masterminds material. Now this is page number 12, question number 13 of 4.5 edition BCR material of Masterminds. Now part B, we'll be going into a little grammatical part. First one, we need to change the passive sentences into active sentences. The first one, President Kennedy was killed by Lee Harvey Oswald. So now we have the person who did the action here, the person who received the action also here. So let's change it back. Like 3 steps. Action receiver to subject place. Second step. Verb phrase to verb form. Sorry, action doer to the subject place and action receiver to object place. 3 steps. So Lee Harvey Oswald was killed, past tense. So killed President Kennedy. This will be the answer. The second sentence given to us is my wallet has been stolen, and the answer provided by the ICAI in a RTP paper is my wallet has been stolen again. The same sentence has been repeated. This is the answer given by the ICAI for the passive voice to active voice conversion, but this sentence is still in passive voice. So the correct answer for this is someone has stolen my wallet. Now you might think, where did this someone come from? Because we have a rule in active voice to passive voice conversions that if subject is general or unspecific, it need not be mentioned in passive voice. This is the rule we have. So here someone stole it, even I don't know who that is. So there is no specific person. So this is how the someone got intruded into this answer. Someone has stolen my wallet. The next sentence, a story is being written by me. See, this clearly tells me is plus being. That means my active voice sentence needs to be in present continuous. Now, who is my action doer? Me. In the object place, it is me. When I bring to subject place, it is am. The helping verb I'll be using is am, and the verb in the ing form, writing. So I am writing. What am I writing? A story. This will be how I convert this. Now next part in part B is changing indirect speech into direct speech. This is from the chapter direct speech and indirect speech. Father told Pankaj that he would not give him pocket money. Let us check how can I change this back into direct speech. See, first of all, let me identify the connecting word that. So I have my first part of the sentence, which is reporting clause, the second part of the sentence, which is reported speech. Now father told Pankaj. Now told will get changed to said to in direct speech. Now he is referring to the father. So in the direct speech, he will be replaced with I. Would. This is a conditional statement, and we clearly know whenever we get regular form of modal verbs in the sentence, then they get changed to conditionals in indirect speech. So would gets replaced with will. Now not give him pocket money, not give him. Him is actually referring to Pankaj. So you. Him changes to you. So I will not give you pocket money. This is how we change this direct speech to indirect speech. My friend said that he had been to England thrice. Now same process, connecting word that. I have two parts. My reporting verb is said directly and is in past tense. So my friend said, comma, inverted commas begin. His friend, right? So I. He refers to my friend. So I had been. This clearly says that sentence is in past perfect, whereas when it gets changes to direct speech, it should be shifted to present perfect, because reporting verb is in past tense. So had been gets changed to have been to England thrice or 3 times. Since this is a number, it will not get changed. Ankit said that he would be using the bike next Monday. So as usual, connecting word, first part of sentence, second part of sentence. Ankit said. Okay, he is referring to Ankit. So when you change this to direct speech, he gets changed to I. Now we have seen the first sentence in the RTP where we got a conditional would. It gets replaced with will. So would replaced with will. Be using the bike next Monday. Be using the bike next Monday, because next Monday something clearly in future, not a particular period time, so it gets repeated again. The teacher instructed Rahman to stand up right then. Now if I properly look at it, this preposition acts as a connecting word to me. Stand up right then. Teacher instructed Rahman. When I change this to direct speech, instructed will get changed to said to. So the teacher said to Rahman, come on, inverted commas begin, stand up right then. See, this is a period of time. It has to be changed. So in the direct speech sentence, we get now when replacing then. So the teacher said to Rahman, stand up right now. This is how you change. Now if you properly observe, we have given all the models of this active voice to passive voice conversions, or passive to active conversions, and direct speech to indirect speech conversions, or indirect to direct conversions, very clearly covering all the models in 4.5 edition of our material. Next part is vocabulary, where we'll be looking at synonyms and antonyms. Fostering. So let me use a word, foster parents. That means own parents are not available, biological parents are not nearby. So foster parents, that means someone who takes care of me. So someone taking care of someone is another word for nurturing. That's your answer, synonym for this. Next one is empirical. Empirical means something very practical. So by looking at this first part, we might think empire, something royal, something big. No, but when it comes to this, it's not royal, it's not anything else. It's just being practical. Delightful. That means something which grabs our attention for a long time. So if it is colorful, we can see it for only some time. If it is funny, we will just look at it and forget after it. If it is hidden, we will not even bother about it. So for delightful, charming is the actual answer. Now credentials means, in a simple language, confirmed details. When I have a proper genuine details, confirmed details with me, I'll start trusting them. So credentials, trustworthiness. Now let's go to the idioms part. Before going to idioms part, let me tell you, the synonyms and antonyms part we have given to you in the form of a separate chapter in our 4.5 edition material of Masterminds, where you have a vast coverage of more number of words to look into and learn, practice and refer. Next part is of idioms. Idioms are nothing but the actual meaning will be something, but the underlying meaning will be something, and we are looking for that underlying meaning, right? To cry wolf. See, we might have heard about this story, a kid who is a son of a shepherd who went with his father to herd his sheep. So when his father is busy working somewhere, he started crying wolf, wolf, wolf. When his father came in, he said, I just joked. So the wolf did not come, but he shouted wolf, wolf, wolf. That means he lied. So this story, if you take this story as a reference, it clearly says to give a false alarm. The next one, to end in smoke. To end in smoke. See, we try doing something, maybe some dish or something. If it goes wrong, it gets burnt up and it results in the smoke. Let it be smoke or whatever result. What will be the result? Nothing will be the result. Whatever we started doing will not be completed. Instead, it will be even spoiled. So when you look at this meaning of this, to end in smoke, to come to nothing. You did something but did not do anything. Come rain or sunshine. So let it be, let it rain or let it sunshine, let the sun shine very brightly. I'm not going to stop whatever I'm going to do. So in a simple words, no matter whatever happens, to come clean, to come clean. That means, am I going to take bath and clean myself and come? Or am I going to wash my hands and feet when I step into somebody's house or into some place? No, it doesn't mean that. To come clean means I prove my honesty, I prove my innocence, and everybody believes it, and I am safe. That means making an honest disclosure. That means this is what I am, being very honest and genuine to everyone, is called come clean. So for this idioms as well, we have given a vast number of idioms in the form of a separate chapter in our 4.5 edition of Masterminds material, covering vast amount of idioms for your learning, practicing and referring. Right? Now coming to chapter 4, which is comprehension passages. So we have a comprehension passage, first one given about motivating the national building activities, taking reference of National Service Scheme, NSS, and all these things. Now we have 5 questions given to us here. What is Indian youth accused of? See the first line, Indian youth accused of. These are the keywords you need to find out. So better try following question passage approach. I repeat, better follow question passage approach. In the question we have just seen, what is Indian youth accused of? See, Indian youth is accused of. We have the keywords in the first line itself. So starting from here, the next line up to this. Indian youth is accused of being impatient, indisciplined, disrespectful to the elders, and irresponsible towards society and authority. See? What was the scheme? Introduced to involve students in social service and developmental activities. Scheme involves students in social service. Keywords you need to find. Let's go here. See, involve students of colleges and +2 on a voluntary and selective basis in programs of social services and developmental activities. Now in the first line we have the name of the scheme, NSS. Now NSS was introduced in 1969 to involve students of colleges. See, we have the same answer here. National Service Scheme was introduced to involve students in social service and developmental activities. So this is how you write your answers. So what works are undertaken by NSS? See, under this scheme, rural and slum area reconstruction, repair of roads, school buildings, ponds, tanks, plantation of teas, protection, environment protection, health and family planning, and education of adults and women are undertaken. We have the keyword undertaken there. See? Now, for what purpose are youth hostels with cheap accommodation or set up? We have this directly here. Youth hostels, see. Youth hostels set up all over the country to provide cheap accommodation to the youth to inspire them into undertaking educational tours and excursion to visit cultural and historic sites to revisit our glorious past. The same line can be written. What is the tone of author? Callous, informative, derogatory, ironic. Informative, he is giving information about NSS, National Service Scheme, and different facilities we have according to it. What is being done for tribal youth of the country? See, it's very C. The tribal youth were given occasional training under special scheme to enable them to become self-employed. We have direct answers. You need to follow the question passage approach in the same way. Now next passage is about United Nations Organization. Now the answers are done in the same way here. I'm just following what you needs to follow in your examination purpose. See, I have all the time to read the entire passage and give you the answers, but I'm just going to give you the practice how to answer the questions of the comprehension passage. See, how many members of General Assembly of UNO has at present? It began with 50 nations as its members, but now it has 193 nations, member nations, accounting for almost all the countries of entire earth except Switzerland. We have a direct number given to us, member nations. Now, which country is not a member of UNO? It's clearly mentioned, we just seen, except Switzerland. That means Switzerland, no. Switzerland is not member of UNO. How are other wings answerable to General Assembly? So how are they answerable to? See, we have a direct. Other wings are answerable to it through annual and special periodical reports submitted for its consideration. We have a direct answer. So all other wings are answerable to UNO General Assembly. See, it is UN General Assembly. See, what is the function of General Secretary? Let's find out where this General Secretary is. Here it is. The General Secretary is the chief administrative office of the world body who leads UN Secretariat. He presides over the General Assembly meetings and those of other organs of UN. We have a direct answers mentioned. State the plan of WHO. Where is this WHO mentioned in this paragraph? First find it here. So what is the plan of? See here, WHO plans steps to achieve highest possible level of good health of the entire human population of the earth. We have a direct answer. See, now list 3 functions or responsibilities of General Assembly. Now here we have several specialized agencies like ILO, International Labour Organization, UNESCO, United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNCTAD, United Nations Council for Trade and Development, WHO, World Organizations. Now these agencies help the parent body in working out agreements and various related matters to them in achieving different objectives and goals. Now we'll see. The same are mentioned. Discusses reports and gives its approvals. Elects General Secretary and judges for Court of Justice. See, mentioned here. General Assembly discusses the reports and gives its approval. Elects General Secretary and judges of International Court of Justice. Admits new members to the Assembly. Elects non-permanent members of various councils. We have 4, not just 2. See, we have direct answers in the paragraph. This is how you find out the keywords and find the answers in the passage. Chapter number 5, note making. Now, what am I going to do with this note making chapter? We will be given a passage. We need to find out what are the important points and sub points of this passage. And we need to give appropriate titles for the note making and the summary as well. So 2 titles. In the note making, we'll be mentioning the title as what is discussed in the passage, and for summary, we'll be writing the title as what is the passage about. Now here in the ICAI answers released by ICAI, only one title is given, that too for the note making part. For the summary, the title was not given, and the title you are seeing here is provided by the masterminds. Now how am I going to look at these? So I'll tell you how it goes. I'm going to separate this paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is a very small line, so I'll join these 5 lines into one part. So before I go to the next paragraph, first I'll check here. Reflects the personality of people. What? Decoration. Just each person is distinctive. it should have unity within each, not only within each room but also throughout the house. Room should harmonize with each other. Colors and styling of each room particularly should fit into the color and styling of other rooms. Now look at the first main point. Home reflects the personality of the home owner. First main point. Unity and harmony between the rooms. This is a shortened form, abbreviation. Now color and styling should match. Should, shortcut form again. This is what discussed in the first passage. Now let me go to the second part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All together becomes my second part. Now in the second part, see, set stage for pleasant living, expression of yourself, have a feeling of satisfaction, share your enjoyment. Your friends will share your enjoyment. Now let me go to the second main point here. Elements of selection. See, I have everything here. Now this second point is taken from this. Draperies, usage, background, floor covering, upholstering materials, woods, shapes, color schemes, and the feeling. See, we have just added the title for the summary writing. And this answer we haven't changed from the answer released by ICAI. So you could have written another main point from this selection. Not a problem, you can do it. Now second main point, see, first main point is taken from this part, second main point is taken from this part. See, elements of decoration, color schemes, draperies, rugs, upholsteries, wood and shape. Now plan to enjoy. Work and plan to enjoy your house. Now this part is my third main point. See, how am I taking the paragraphs in the passage to write my main points and sub points? See, work and plan to enjoy your house. Limit the expenditures, time, effort, money to the extent of your abilities. So running house doesn't dominate your life. Elegance and delicate things may drain. You can afford only in a limited way. Can't afford outside help. Select a house and furnishings that requires less care. Now let's look at this. Limit time, effort and money. Select furnishings which require little care. Confine hectic activities to few rooms. Hobbies connected with house, great pleasure. Even this is a continuation paragraph as well. So third main point is here. Now the fourth main point has been selected from this. Choosing color combinations from wallpapers, fabrics, oriental mag, flower scene or picture on the magazine. If you don't already have the furnitures or messages, it's a good idea to make up a color scheme. In this way, let's one color predominate. All these things will be mentioned in the fourth paragraph here. One color should predominate. Expect with colors, calm colors for restfulness, intense for liveliness. Colors should harmonize with furniture, draperies and carpets. Choice of colors is my main point. So 4 main points and respective. Next, in the ICAI material, for this part only keywords is the heading mentioned by them, but you need, according to the guidelines of ICAI study materials, you need to mention this as full key to abbreviations like this. And you will be writing the key to abbreviations in this way. And while writing the summary writing, look at this. First you need to go with the side heading summary. In the next line, you need to go with the title. See, this title is provided by Masterminds. So we have written the summary for the given passage. The summary can be written by taking into consideration of all the main points and sub points written in the note making. For this particular note making part, we have given ample amount of examples to give you a practice of how to write the note making in 4.5 edition of our Masterminds material. So please check it out. Next come to précis writing. Précis writing in one way is called as condensing the given paragraph and writing it in a short form without missing anything from the paragraph. I'll tell you a difference. Summary writing is about writing all important points in the paragraph, whereas the précis writing is all about condensing the passage but writing all the points, not just important but all the points. We have been given 2 points here, and Prezi writing answers. See, this part of answer is given by the ICAI in the RTPs released. But as per the guidelines of the ICAI study materials and sources, it was clearly mentioned that your Prezi writing should be written in this way. First, you need to write a rough draft. You need to draft the points which you are taking into consideration in the form of bullets. Then you need to go with a heading, side heading, fair draft. In the center of the page, you need to give a title like this. And then go with writing the Prezi we are supposed to write. After writing this, you will leave a line gap here. After writing a line gap, you will mention this number of words in the passage, in the Prezis. I am writing the reason here because Prezi is equal to 1/3 of given passage. It should be 1/3 in size of given passage. See, 171:60, 1/3 approximately. Might not be exactly, but approximately 1/3. That will do. Even for the second Prezi writing, the same. This is the answer mentioned by the ICAI in the RTP papers, but as per the ICAI sources, study materials, guidelines mentioned in the study materials and all those things, it should be in the following way. Rough draft, the points we took for consideration mentioned in the form of bullets. You will leave a line here. You will give a side heading, fair draft. Next line, center of the page, you will give a proper title. You see, in the ICAI mentioned answer, the title is also to the left, but it's not the way you will be writing. Now, depending on the rough draft points you have taken, you will paragraph, you will summarize the paragraph. You will leave another one line gap here, and you will present this part. See, 193:74. Right? Now, we have given even for this particular chapter, Prezi writing, ample amount of examples in our 4.5 edition material for your practice, reference and learning. Please refer to it. Chapter 8, article writing. See, we have been given 2 articles to write. Board exams be online in India, impact of election campaigns on public. Now here, that this particular article depends on the perception of an individual, and it will be different from one person to another person. So we haven't given you any suggested answer from our side as well, from the mastermind side as well, because the guidelines mentioned here is more than enough. These guidelines are mentioned by ICAI. See, giving proper title, difference between online exams and offline examinations, pros and cons. Online exams can be blessings for some true students. So what all the points can be covered, but cons, technical issues faced by the students. Now offline examples can be comfortable for anyone, traditional method of examination. So what can be chosen in future? You conclude the article like this. Now impact of election campaigns. Now first, what is an election campaign? How you write it. Now impact of campaigning and how it is part of the process. You can take these 2 points in paragraph 1. So campaign strategies to move more banks, the thought process, teams involved, the creativity during the campaigning, strategies of campaigning, now implementation of those campaigning efforts and vision. You can take this as another paragraph. Now influence of campaigns on public. So focus is what, promise made, vision of development, impact on masses, attitudes, beliefs and thoughts. You can take this as another paragraph. Since only impacts were asked, there is no need to conclude anything in this. All these three things mentioned in 3 different paragraphs, that's all. So for the purpose of practice, reference and your learning, we have mentioned vast number of articles in our 4.5 edition material of Masterminds for business correspondence and reporting. So please refer to that. Next one is report writing. So here a newspaper report about a demolition drive by the city municipal corporation against illegal constructions. So it's very clear, it's a newspaper report. We have a structure for it to write. Next one is your finance head of sports academy, write a formal report. See, one is a newspaper report, other one is a formal report. So what are the things that needs to be in the newspaper report? Because everybody can write in their own perspective. First, you need to write a title of the report you are writing, then name of the reporter and name of the newspaper in which this is getting published. So write preferably any national daily newspaper. Now in the first paragraph, start with why is the demolition happening. Now in the second paragraph, continue with who started it, what is the agenda, what are the consequences, and end the third paragraph with what is the public reaction. So separate these two paragraphs with a single line gap. Now formal reports, this is a very rare question to be asked in the examination, but still in the RTPs it was asked. So what do I have? I need to know the format of the formal report. I need to mention to, that means to whom is this report submitted, from who is submitting the report, date, when is the report getting submitted, subject, what is the report about, and then summary, a brief mentioning of what is the report about. Now table of contents like index page. Now discussing the details one by one each and concluding the report. This is how it goes. Now for either let it be a newspaper report or a magazine report or a formal report or official report, we have given ample number of examples for your practice in our 4.5 edition of Masterminds material. I would suggest and recommend you going through those examples for your practice, reference and learning the formats and presentation properly. So I have given you a sample formal report here. See, to Director of Finance, because your finance head of sports, from Finance Secretary of Sports Academy. So Secretary Finance, date of submission, subject of reporting this, and in a very brief summary or acknowledgements. Now contents. Now this is the summary, and we'll have the conclusion as well. Next one is writing formal letters and official communication chapter. Now the first one, you are Lalita or Lalita Dubey, manager the supply of books in school library. Now write a letter for placing the books, order of books to Vikas Public House. Prepare a list of at least 5 different books is the question. So whatever you are seeing is the answer mentioned by the ICAI, where this is the sender's address, and this particular line is date, and this is receiver's address, subject line mentioned, and then salutation mentioned, and the body of the letter mentioned. Unfortunately, the answer released by the ICAI is released with a reference to only body of the letter in a proper way. But as per the guidelines of the ICAI study materials and sources we have, the following is the format of the letter that needs to be presented. See, 4 lines, minimum 4 lines of sender's address. So for your understanding, I have given you the marginal format even. So where should I leave a line gap, where should I not leave a line gap, and how should I present it? So after writing sender's address, see, this is a line gap, and then I'll be writing the date in this format, and then I have another line gap. Even the sender's address is also, receiver's address is also in 4 lines. These are the mandatory rules to be followed. You can never skip them, and you must never skip them. I repeat, you cannot skip them and you can never skip them. Immediately after writing the receiver's address, you need to go with the salutation but not the subject, because this is a letter, not an email. So after writing the receiver's address, you will leave a line gap. You will go with the salutation. After salutation, you will leave a line gap again, and then you will write the subject. Remember, you are placing an order, so make sure you mention that clause, placing an order, in the subject line, and then you will leave a line gap. Are you seeing this? And then you will start writing. You might have already have a telephone conversation with so and so person. That is the pretext of this letter. So you already discussed your requirement with one of the executives of that receiver. And see, I am writing. They asked for at least 5 books, so I mentioned 5 books here. So what are my requirements? And see, this is my requirement regarding the delivery of the books. So it should be latest edition in proper state, no tearings, no papers missing, not like that. Proper printing, proper covering, proper binding, everything. So I'm expecting the delivery to be made to me before 5th of April. Now I'm telling that bills will be cleared at the time of delivery. That means COD, cash on delivery. So I'm requesting them to give a suitable discount on the purchase because we are placing an order to their publishing house very regularly. Now this is a thanking part. So before thanking part, after completing the body of the letter, before writing the thanking statement, you will leave a line gap. After writing a thanking statement, you will leave another line gap here. And then you will go with complimentary closure, and then the signature part. We have a second question given for letter writing. Look at this. You are the customer service manager of Ganesh Electronics Private Limited. You need to write a letter to them complaining about a defect in music system purchased from the store. Sign in yourself as Gauri or Gaurav. Let it be you are Gauri or Gaurav. If you are a boy, take it as Gaurav. If you are a girl, write it as Gauri. So this is the answer mentioned by ICAI in the RTPs. Now here we are going to give you the correct format. 4 lines of sender's address. This is mandatory. You cannot skip this. And you should not skip this. 1 line gap. And then you will go with the date. After writing date, again 1 line gap. Customer service manager is the name of a designation, so you'll write the in front of it because no name of that person is given. So this is again receiver's address in minimum 4 lines. After that, you will leave a line gap. And you will go with the salutation. After writing the salutation, you will leave another line gap. You are writing a letter of complaint here. So clearly mention that word. Filing a complaint, defect purchase on. This is your bill number. This is your bill number. This is how you mention the subject of a letter of complaint. So after writing a subject, you will leave a line gap and we'll start with the body of the letter. First, what is the complaint about? So regarding a defect in the music system, this is the bill number, purchase date from the store. Now explain the problem in a little detailed way. So it worked properly for 1 month. There should be some trouble for the last 3 days. Sound breaks while the songs are being played. The system hangs multiple times. Coupled with this, songs stop playing abruptly and require system to be restarted. So there is a warranty. You need to get it replaced. Now what are you expecting them to do? For every paragraph I am writing in the body of the letter, if you properly observe, I have left a line gap. See, what is your requirement? What do you want them to do? So you want them to look into this matter without any delay, provide new working system, replacement. Now, what are you sending them? You are enclosing a copy of bill of purchase for the reference. And you will leave a line gap. And you will give a proper thanking statement. After writing proper thanking statement, you will go giving another line gap here. Since here you are writing as an individual, no need to mention all the things. You just write it as yours truly because you are writing to a customer service manager and you are providing some proofs. And the name of the person who is writing the letter. This is the format we are going to discuss or we need to present for the letter writing question. This is what an evaluator expects from a student to be presented. Let's go to next chapter, which is all about writing formal emails. Now, you need to write an email to all your clients, requesting them to send the information needed to file the IT forms. So, this is the format given to us by the ICAI in the RTP, but as per the guidelines and the processes and steps mentioned in the ICAI sources, which is the study materials and few other study materials referred by or released by ICAI, this is the format you will be using. You need to write from first to CC BCC. Now you might ask me, why have I written the email addresses in BCC? Why didn't I write it in to and CC? Say if I write it in to, everybody will notice. If I write anything in CC, that means they are needed to know the information, not to take any action. It means that. So I'm making it in BCC because I don't want anybody to know about it. That means they need to do me the work and send the details. Now after BCC, I'll go with the subject. Now better for all this from to BCC, CC, BCC, leave a line gap. After BCC, leave another line gap, write the subject line, leave another line gap, and then you go with the salutation. Dear employees is what mentioned by ICAI here, but you are writing it to your clients, not to employees. So dear esteemed client will be an appropriate salutation. Leave a line gap, start your email, greetings with respect to all these things. First paragraph informs the details like why is the email being written, what is the last date, and what do you need. Next, what will be the consequences if that is not followed? What kind of help you are offering and whom to contact. A thanking statement and the signature part. This is how the format of an email should look like. Let's go to the next chapter, resume writing, chapter number 12. So we have somebody by name Radhika or Ramesh Jaiswal, an English teacher. We need to draft a resume to apply for a job in a school along with a cover letter. So first cover letter has been mentioned to us here. This cover letter and this resume is given to us by the ICAI in the RTP. But when it comes to the actual presentation, what the actual evaluator expectation is, we have given you a proper format as per the references from ICAI guidelines. And this format we are going to see according to the margins as well is somewhat mentioned to you by Masterminds people by taking into consideration of all ICAI sources. And this is the way, whatever you're going to see now is the way you're going to present your answer. So cover letter or formal letter, whatever it is, the writing address will not change. 4 lines of sender's address. This will not change. Leaving a line gap, this will not change. Date, after date, leaving another line gap, this also will not change. Now, this one. 4 lines of receiver's address. You see, it is very much mandatory that you mention the address of either sender or receiver in 4 lines. It's mandatory. Now, after writing the receiver's address, a line gap again. After that, we'll go with salutation. You will leave a line gap again. You will leave a line gap again. After that, you will write the subject. Since you are applying for a job, application for the post of. This clause is mandatory to be written. Now, you will be writing the post. What is the name of the post you are applying for? After writing the subject, you will be leaving a line gap again. Now, we will be getting into the body of the letter. It's just, you will write who are you and why are you writing the letter together in the first paragraph of the body of the letter, or you will just write the purpose. Now here, this is just the purpose mentioned directly here. You will leave a line gap after writing this first paragraph of body of the letter. This is your second paragraph. You will be telling about you. So you are telling that you have more than 3 years of experience. What motivated you to apply to that organization? What are your pros that makes those people can select you to the job? What are the extracurricular qualifications you have? This is the details they'll be looking for. After this second paragraph, you will leave another line gap. What do you want from them? And again, a line gap. See, you're telling that you have attached a resume along with the letter for the details. So you want them to look into them. A thanking statement is mentioned. Looking forward looking forward to hearing from you soon. A thanking statement properly. After thanking statement, you will leave a line gap. You will leave a line gap, and then comes to the signature part. Complimentary closure. Since you are signing it as an individual, your name, you need to mention what is getting enclosed with this letter. See, an updated copy of a resume. See, you have mentioned it here. Resume attached with this letter for the details of my credentials. So I am mentioning it, and a copy of updated resume has been enclosed with this letter, and along with it, educational experience certificates are also being sent. This is mandatory. Now, I understand regarding this letter writing, many people or many of you have some doubts. I'm going to write certain mandatory rules to be followed here for any kind of letter writing. Since I am writing this in capital letters, that means this is very important. Always start writing the letter in a fresh page. That means you need to start writing from the fresh page. You should not write somewhere from the middle of the page, no matter whatever it is. There's the mandatory rule you need to follow. Then you will have another question. Sir, even if I start from the fresh page, with the line gaps you have told me, my letter will definitely go to second page. What should I do? Well and good. So imagine the diagram I am drawing here is your booklet. So if you are writing letter in this page, and it will be going to second page as well. Now what am I going to do here? In the last line of this page here, I will not write anything related to letter, but in the bottom rightmost corner, I will open a bracket like this, square bracket, and I will write like this, CONTD, 3 dots, and close the bracket. That means the letter from this place is getting continued to the second page. And when you are coming to the second page like this, rule number 1 and only rule you follow is, make sure third para of body of letter comes in second page. Not just thanking statement, not just the signature in the second page. This is the thing you will be remembering. Now I'll give you another example. I'll give you another instruction as well. Now this instruction is common even for the thing next is, you make sure third paragraph of the body of the letter comes to the next page is same even for the next one I am telling. This is your answer booklet, and you started writing your letter from here. You need to turn the page. So in the last line, bottom right corner, you will be opening a square bracket, and you will mention like this, capital P dot, capital T dot, capital O dot, close the bracket, which means page turnover. You can turn the page for the continuation of the letter. This is what you will be doing. Now let's get to the resume writing. Since we have more than 3 years of experience, we are going with chronological resume here. See, first objective, professional experience. So this is mandatory. Information about the candidate is mandatory. Look how it is written. And then recent experience, your extracurricular activities, and then your educational qualifications in anti-chronological order, highest degree first and your 10th class last. And after this, you'll go with your personal details. It includes date of birth, marital status, languages you know, permanent address to contact. And then you must mention declaration, and the heading by name declaration should be in the middle of the page, and you need to write this statement. And in the next line, you will go with date, you will leave a line gap, you will go with place. In the same line, you will write the name of the candidate in capital letters, enclosing it in square brackets. Up to this, if you write properly, this concludes this concludes the format of resume writing. Without this kind of conclusion, your resume writing is still incomplete. Now this has been referred from the sources of ICAI, which is the guidelines from the study materials. Next one, draft a formal email. You are supposed to write a formal email. So the first part here, whatever you are seeing, is what is given to us by ICAI as a part of RTPs we are looking at. Now how am I going to write this email actually? I need to mention from to CC BCC. Now these things are not properly mentioned. Instead, address is written here. Look at this. Then we'll go with writing the subject. After writing the subject, you will leave a line gap. We'll go with salutation. You will leave with another line gap, and you'll start writing. So what is the purpose of email, and few other details which are required, and what are you expecting from that person who received this letter, and a proper thanking statement, signature part, name of the person sending, and designation of the person who is sending. We will not have anything regarding to signature here. It's only writing name and the contact designate. It's only writing name, designation, and contact number of the person sending the email. Right? Let's go to the next question. It's about minutes of meeting. Write minutes of meeting for a meeting conducted to discuss the launch of a toothpaste. Now here, this is what we have been given by ICAI, but even minutes of meeting, writing minutes of meeting also is having a proper format that needs to be followed. And we have given you in a line format where you'll understand where to leave a line, where not to leave a line, and what to write and what not to write. So first you need to write date, that means the date of meeting, meeting started at, the time of meeting, agenda, what is the meeting related to. Now participants in the meeting, who all participated. See, after date I have a line gap. After meeting started I have a line gap. After writing agenda I have a line gap. Now I am writing list of participants who will be sitting in the room to write all those things. After writing that, I will be leaving another line gap. Now while writing all these things, so I will be writing in a sequential order: who started, who continued, who followed, what was the things done, and what was decided. Now after writing all the discussed points, I will leave another line gap. So I'll write a conclusion stated, that means finally what they did decide, and when the ATR should be submitted, action taken should be reported, and after that I will leave another line gap here, and then I'll be writing who did not attend the meeting. So here I have none. After writing those, that will be end of the minutes of meeting. So we have another minutes of meeting question to be written. This is also follows the same format, right? So this comes to a conclusion, the end of this explanation of RTP paper. So I hope you have learned how the presentation should be made, and this is useful session to all of you. So with a little more valid information regarding your examination presentations, we'll meet again. Thank you all.